All right. Let's say this real quick. Okay, here we go. 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1. Welcome to Inside Look. I'm Jeff Lyons, along with Jordan Yaney from 14 News here. Happy, sad podcast again. You've announced you're moving on, but before we get to all of that, how are you doing?
I'm okay. It is my last week here at 14 News, which has been a really odd feeling.
You've been here 4 years?
4 years.
Yeah, that's a long time. I mean, really, for your first job out of school and everything, and then to invest that kind of time here. How did you wind up signing was it a 4 or 5 year contract?
I signed initially a 3-year contract and then extended a couple of times. I became the weekend anchor just a couple months after starting here, so that was a new contract. And then I got off the weekends after about 3 years, so that was a new contract. So it was kind of a whole deal, but ended up that the timing was right, and my wife and I are going to move closer to home.
Okay, and that's good news. I'm going to pull this microphone over a little bit.
You'd think I would in 4 years I would figure out how to use a microphone.
You got to talk right into these.
Yeah,
you know how it is. They're hair trigger. But anyway, well, let's back up because we had actually, you helped me when we started this project. I didn't know anything about podcasts or anything, and so you were one of my guinea pigs. You came in here and were very patient with me. We recorded one, and I thought, well, that's good enough. It should go out on the air, and then it was like shelved. And so and then as we moved along, I'm like, well, I thought I did one with Jordan Yaney. So this is the one with Jordan Yaney. It'll be the only one with Jordan Yaney, but a permanent, you were here kind of thing.
It was lost into, I guess, the legend of 14 Inside Look, I guess.
There are a few on the cutting room floor back there, I'm sure. So how did you get to 14 News? What was your path?
I graduated from Anderson University in 2021. And my now wife was my girlfriend at the time. She was a year behind me in school. So I wanted to work in TV, but I didn't want to be too far from her because I knew I was going to eventually marry her. So not too many TV stations in Indiana. Had a really good connection with our news director here, Joe Schlarth, and we kind of hit it off. I had applied for the sports job. He ended up picking Tamar Scher, if you remember her. But he really liked me and wanted me to do news. So I tried it out and been here for 4 years now.
Okay. And what was the interview process like? Like when you met with Joe, and Joe passed away, by the way, a couple of years ago. So you've really kind of gone through a weird stretch here at 14 News. Very shocking that he passed away when he did, very young. Yeah. And a big loss, of course, for the newsroom. And but you obviously you struck a chord with him when you interviewed with him.
And I don't know how I did, because if you remember, this is the midst of the pandemic.
Sure.
So I did
it hard to break through.
I did it in college over Zoom from my bedroom. I did 2 interviews. I had never been to Evansville in my life. I accepted the job, and I had never been to the station. And something that I didn't really advertise to him was I didn't use a camera in college. And I did no news in college. I did all sports.
Okay. You could just go right over all the basic stuff, know.
And I was the sports anchor. So we had people that were getting class credits to shoot video. They shot all the video, and I just put it together and anchored it. So I had never done news, and I had never used a camera, but he saw something in me, and he hired me anyways. And so pretty much every practical hands-on skill that I've used over the last 4 years, I learned on the job, kind of trial by fire.
Yeah, and photography is kind of fun once you get the hang of it.
Yeah, it is. That's something I enjoy about the job is being creative. It really kind of showing up to a place and being like, okay, how do I tell this story through the lens of the camera?
And looking around and thinking, well, I'll get this, I'll get that, I'll get the other. So you came down here, and were we still masked at the time?
Yep, and we had all those like plastic barricades, like they were going to do something.
The sneeze guards,
between all the desks. Yes. Yeah, so if I sneeze directly on Jackie Monroe, she's safe, but if I breathe the other way, she's at risk.
Forget it. So that would have been 2021, but early 2021, right?
It was. I graduated in May. I started in August.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, and it was such a crazy time here with the pandemic and all of that stuff going on. And at the time when they were hiring people, the reporters in your, I'll say, class, who were all hired at about that time, are all leaving at about the same time too, which was kind of a design flaw, but I mean, it couldn't be helped. A lot of the fresh talent coming out of school, you hire them in May, and so this is what happens. But
so it was trial by fire. I mean, I was on the air much faster than they would have liked, and so that had some steep learning curves. I remember the first time they sent me out by myself, because when we hire people, you shadow other reporters and photographers and kind of learn the deal. They sent me out to stuff the bus in Evansville with the Salvation Army.
Right.
And I'm interviewing Alex Rahman with Salvation Army, and I'm so nervous. It's just going to be a quick piece. I'm not even going to be on air, but it's the first time I've been alone, kind of like driving a car for the first time without your mom in the passenger seat. And I interview him, and I think it goes really well, and I forgot to hit record.
We've all done. At least you did that the first time out.
So I made up some story about how my camera battery died or my mic battery died in the middle of this interview, and I grabbed him from his car as he was leaving the Walmart parking lot, and I said, hey, we got to do it again. And I did it again, and the years since, I've seen him since, and I've told him. That was the first time I was ever alone, and I just didn't press record.
At least you discovered it when you could still grab him
and
do a make good right off the bat.
Yeah.
Because there's nothing more heart-sinking or heart-wrenching. You would get back after you'd shot a story, and you were out of sync. You were starting it when you thought you were stopping it. And vice
the double
versa.
punch.
So you would see somebody sit down to do the interview, and then they would be standing up and leaving. You're like, wait a minute, what happened?
Yeah.
So I didn't know you made that. But that's a classic rookie error, though. We've all done it.
My first time, and I don't think I told them. I think I was like, it went great, nothing went wrong. Just so nervous and wanting to make a name for myself. And
I was sent on a story about, I think it was the Henderson Bridge, the Twin Bridge. It never showed the bridge. The what? Why did they want to see the bridge? It's like, yeah, we need a picture of the bridge. Luckily, we had video of the bridge. But anyway, so talk about your wife now a little bit. I know she's a teacher here in Evansville. What's she or how did you guys meet? And then what's it like for her being married to the TV guy?
So I mentioned that I covered the sports in college. She played the sports. She was our star volleyball player at Anderson University. And so we met kind of through that. Started dating shortly before I graduated. I mean, we started dating in January of 21. I graduated in May, but I knew pretty early on that this was the person I was going to marry. So she moved down here in 2022. She's taught for 3 years at Hebron Elementary in Evansville. She's taught 5th grade and 1st grade, and she coached volleyball at Central High School for a couple of years. She was the varsity head coach there. You mentioned people recognizing her, not just because she's the volleyball coach, but she was on a field trip at the zoo the other day, and someone you can always tell, and I'm sure you more than anyone know, when someone it's the way that their eyes
they look at you, kind of lock,
and they're like analyzing your face, and then you're Felicity Yaney, and she's like, yeah, are you one of my kids' parents? No, you're Jordan's wife. And so that's always weird. There's the experience that we go through where it's, oh, yes, nice to meet you. Thank you for watching. She had no idea what to say, but, knowing her, she was very gracious and kind about it.
Didn't sucker punch somebody.
No.
Bad for the station.
She was great.
She wouldn't do that.
She was gracious.
Kidding. So you are now going to leave, but you're not staying in the business, which I think is interesting because you've kind of done it all here. You've anchored. You did some sports. You did an excellent thing, the show there when they did the retro game out at Bossy Field. Were you here when they blew up the old National Bank building, when they imploded the building?
The one downtown?
Yeah.
I think I had just started.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, so you've had some big bona fides out there.
Yeah.
What story sticks out with you? Like which one,
Oh, wow.
Will you tell your grandchildren about someday?
I think it would be down in Dawson Springs, or actually in Earlington in the Barnsley neighborhood, shortly after the December 10th tornadoes with Clara Lutz. I'll never forget her. She was watching her 2 grandchildren, and the tornado started to come through. She put them in the bathtub with blankets, pillows, and a Bible, and that bathtub got lifted out of their mobile home and thrown probably a good 30, 40 yards into the yard. And we got this body cam video of deputies just hearing, it was pitch black. I mean, it was 9 p.m. in December, so it was pitch black. It's raining, and there's a tornado that just rolled through, and they hear this crying. And they're like, it sounds like a baby. And we have this excellent body cam video of them just uncovering blanket after blanket after blanket and pulling a less than 1-year-old child out unharmed. And so that video was just, I mean, I have chills right now talking about it and talking to her and how scared she was. That is one that I will never forget.
Yeah. in such an unexpected outcome, especially considering that tornado and that circumstance. So you've done it all more or less in 4 years, and now you're going to turn the page and try something different. I figured you would have been a lifer, probably not here, because you're good, and typically what happens, not that the people here are bad, it's just that the really good ones, whoosh, up they go. Like Samantha Johnson was here. I think she was in your class, right?
Yeah.
Now she's working at WTHR up in Indy. Did you want to stay in the business, or you've deliberately kind of said, I'm going to try something different?
I considered it. It's something that, I never wanted to be a news reporter. I wanted to be a sports guy. But, as I've gotten married, you realize that sports don't happen 9 to 5, Monday through Friday. They happen nights and weekends.
Pretty much.
And
my holidays, all that.
My priority is to be with my wife and to be with my family. And it's been hard to be away from them. I mean, we're 3.5 hours away from home. We're 5 hours away from her parents. But I'm going to work for the government. So I figured I tackled the media. Might as well try the government. I'm going to be working as a public relations director for NDOT Transportation up near Indy, 30 minutes from where I grew up in Greenfield. And, it just felt right. I had considered, and I had conversations with Samantha about what would it look like for me to transition into Indianapolis. What was that transition from Evansville to Indy like for you? But to me, it just felt right to try something new, to try something with maybe a little bit more stable of hours, something where I'm still involved in media and communication, but not necessarily in this sense, and just trying something different. So I'm excited for the new opportunity.
Yeah, and it'll be great. When do you start? Like, do you have a little gap between leaving here and
so
starting there?
My last day here is Thursday, the 19th, and then I will be starting there. I believe it's going to be at the beginning of next month, but they're still trying to lock down a date. So here in a couple of weeks, I'll be starting up there.
Okay, at the Department of Transportation. Did Felicity find a teaching job up here?
She's still looking, but she's got some interviews. So
that's pretty good.
Fingers crossed. Hopefully, by the time this airs,
being
she'll have a
close to
job.
family, especially. I can understand that because I'm working in my hometown, which is what I wanted to do. And much like you, I worked 3 years in Terre Haute and then came back, and I can tell you that you will not regret that. We will regret losing you and losing institutional knowledge and all of that. But it's inevitable, we have a lot of people that come in here and do great things, and you want to keep them, you want to glue them down as best you can. But, you got to move on, do your thing. So I'm just glad part of it was here at 14 News. And so what's next? Do you think, as you look back at your broadcasting career, what was the biggest surprise that came out of this venture for you?
I think it was just the fact that when you wake up every day, you have no idea what is in store. But I know that I will have something for you at 6 o'clock.
Right.
And that, to me, for a long time, has just been really exciting, is just waking up and, I might have an idea of how my day is going to go, but I have no idea how my day is going to go. I think of one story in particular where I was actually looking for something well into the afternoon, 12:30, 1 o'clock, and then we find out that there's some people on the side of the road over on the west side off the Lloyd, and they've got some signs, and they're asking for money, and it seems a little fishy. So they send myself and Brian Sissel out there to look at it. And I end up getting nominated for an Emmy for a story where these people are holding up signs for this fake girl asking for donations for brain cancer, and are getting hundreds and hundreds of dollars, and she doesn't exist. And I end up chasing them across the Lloyd Expressway, playing a game of Frogger, trying to track them down and interview them. And every time I come up with a camera, they take off and they run away. And when I woke up that morning, I didn't think I would be running across 6 lanes of traffic.
No, you don't usually think about that. But around here, it's kind of par for the course. Now with the NDOT, it's going to be a little more buttoned down, right? You'll know, okay, we're talking up the big interchange today. We're telling people, slow down in the work zone tomorrow, or whatever it happens to be. But that will be challenging too. To keep it fresh and interesting, and plus every road in Indiana is torn up, so you're going to have work to do for the foreseeable future.
I hope they're okay with me saying this, but when I was interviewing there, they're like, "Are you okay with people not liking you?" I said, "I've worked in news for 4 years. I think I can take it."
You get a thick skin. So what's the roughest criticism you ever got?
One person told me that my shoes looked like I had just crawled out of a dumpster.
Okay. And you might have, looking for a big story.
Never
I mean,
know.
the
The
people
scoop is
know.
a scoop, no matter where it is. So, people just mean things about emails, and but there's plenty of kind words too that you get. You kind of get both extremes. If you're gonna be able to take the good, you got to be able to take the bad.
That's true.
So
you're probably gonna miss your best pal here, Mitch Carter.
Mitch. I could tell you some stories.
I
about
know
Mitch.
you can. I'm going to ask you for just a couple, but I know that you guys both came in at about the same time.
Yeah, he was about 6 months behind me.
Right.
Yeah.
But you hit it off really quick, and you were
We did.
roommates for a while.
Yeah, people.
When you were still both reporters, right?
People probably don't know that Mitch and I sit right next to each other in the newsroom, have since he started, and we ended up living together not long into our careers here, and we lived together for about a year. I brought a present.
I'll get it. You just
Okay.
keep talking
Well,
here.
let's let Jeff get the reveal what's behind door number 1 here.
Well, I have to set this up a little bit.
Okay.
I don't know any of this stuff. I mean, I hang out in the weather office. I cruise through the newsroom if there's food in there. Otherwise, I stay out of there. It's just too stressful. So anyway, one day I'm walking through the newsroom, and I see this on the wall.
Isn't it beautiful?
For our podcast listeners, it's like a posterized. It's a poster, but it's a posterized picture of Mitch and Jordan Yaney and a cat, almost like a family picture, not quite American Gothic, but you really need to look at the YouTube. I can't even describe this.
So this hung in our living room right above our TV for a year. Right when we moved in, we took a picture. This is just a weird filter on an app that I found. We thought it'd be funny to put on our turtlenecks and our necklaces. And big, strong football player Mitch, this is his 6-pound little cat named Moo that he loves more than anything. And so we decided to get this blown up, and it's, I think, 24 by 36. So it's
full poster size.
It's big. And when I went into Walgreens to pick up the print, you could hear, kind of like we talked about with the eye contact when somebody recognizes
side eye,
you,
right?
the murmurs.
Right.
It's the cat guy. It's the cat guy. And so I came in and I picked this up, and they gave it to me. And when I got married, my wife and I live in the house that Mitch and I lived in, and the day we got back from our honeymoon, the picture came down, and I was not allowed to have it anymore.
And now that Mitch is married,
I
wonder if he would like it. Yeah, and he married another news reporter in the market, Claire Dugan, over at 44.
Well, I'll tell you another story about the cat.
Okay.
Is shortly after we got this done, we made a photoshopped calendar of his cat Moo for our girlfriends who are now our wives.
Right.
So each month had a theme with his cat, jumping into a pile of leaves, or looking at the fireworks on 4th of July, or sitting on Santa's lap, or in that famous picture with the Thanksgiving turkey. So we had a lot of fun with it. This hangs in the newsroom now. So this has been in the newsroom.
Are you going to take
it
it with you, or are you going to leave this behind?
I don't think the court has made a ruling on who gets custody of it yet.
Oh, that's true. Well, I think it's property of Gray Communications. If it was created here, it's intellectual property.
They
of
brought
Gray.
us together, so I guess they get to keep it.
We'll put in an email to Hilton Howell and see what he says. He's the CEO of Gray. Well, I appreciate you bringing this along and telling us the story of this pick.
That gets some laughs. I don't think anybody laughed harder at that than Byron Douglas when he saw it.
Yeah, Byron's a good laugher.
Yeah.
And he might have been the victim of a few pictures similar to this over his time here.
So, yeah, Mitch and I enjoyed living together. That was a fun time. And, sitting next to each other for more than 3 years and living together, we're still great friends.
Yeah, and he failed to mention this when he did the podcast.
I wonder why.
Yeah,
again,
I
big,
have no
strong
idea.
football player wearing the turtleneck with the gave him like a dimpled chin and the nice pursed lips and the
whole
filter.
thing. I mean, it's quite a thing to behold. I'll hold it up one more time here. Some in our YouTube feed here can get a screenshot off of that. That's right. Or maybe we'll do that. We should have had you two do the final podcast for you.
That would have gone on way too long.
That's right. Well, Jordan, I appreciate you coming out here on Inside Look. I wish you the very best up in Indianapolis area. You're from Noblesville, right?
Noblesville, yeah. So I'll be about 30 minutes from home.
And she's way up, like in no, don't tell me. We've been through this before. It's Warsaw. Goshen. Goshen. It's in that area. It was pretty close.
Yeah.
So I'm glad you're going to be close to family.
Yeah.
And do keep in touch.
Yeah.
I'm sure we'll see you when we interview, NDOT, and they send out these video releases. We'll see Jordan Yaney.
I will say before we go, Jeff, it has just been such a pleasure to be a part of this family, because I mentioned being I mean, we have people that come from all across the country, Arizona, Utah,
Sure.
Maryland, D.C. But, for me, I had never been this far from home, and you guys became my family. You really did. You saw me on my best days. You saw me on my worst days. We laughed. We cried. And everybody at 14 was just so welcoming and inviting. And really, I didn't have anybody else in Evansville when I moved here. And so you guys did become my family, and the viewers just for trusting me with your guys' stories over the years. That is a lot. I mean, a lot of times I see people on their hardest days.
Yeah.
And having them trust me to tell me their stories in the toughest times, it has meant the world to me. And I just wanted to thank everybody for that.
Well, I'm glad you got to say that out here. And again, best wishes to you and Felicity and your new venture out there. This has been Inside Look with Jordan Yaney. You can listen to Inside Look wherever you listen to your podcast, or you can watch, and you'll want to watch this one on the 14 News YouTube channel. I'm Jeff Lyons. Thanks for joining.